Live from KSAT 12. The 6 o'clock news starts right now.
What's wrong with the water? 45 homes in a Floresville subdivision depend on this well for their water.
But for a couple of years now, this is what they say they've been getting. Take a look at this. Brown and green water. Unbearable smells of chlorine. Even E. coli found in the well.
When Courtney Friedman went to see it for herself, families told her the company that owns the well is not fixing things or answering enough questions. So she reached out to them too.
Deep brown water fills tubs and clogs filters. For about 2 years, the people in Arrowhead subdivision in Floresville say their lives have been like this. 45 homes get their water from this well, run by the Texas branch of the company Central States Water Resources, or CSWR. If the water is not discolored, people like Carrie Wilcoxon say it smells like chlorine.
I'm the first house off the well. It's so strong that you cannot breathe it, let alone drink it. I don't care what they're saying, this water is not safe to drink. But that sediment is rusting out our hot water heaters and it's galvanizing to other metals. So how in the heck can it be safe for our stomachs?
When we visited Wilcoxon, she'd already flushed out her bathtub, but the water still ran slightly brownish green.
Somewhere around 20 to 25 gallons has already been flushed, and that's the best it gets.
So this is the best it's been in months?
This is the best it's been in several years.
Wow.
Same with the sink and even the toilet, which she cleaned right before we came.
It's staining the porcelains. So who's reimbursing us for that?
Or for the water bottles she said she needs.
Two a week, easily. Everybody in this neighborhood is having to buy bottled water. So who's paying for this?
During this, we've had to use bottled water until it was just we couldn't keep up.
All right, if it's ready to go, you can turn it off.
It got too expensive for Brandy and Jason Knighton because they have 6 kids. It's more cost efficient to have a filtration system, and theirs is not cheap.
This is how the filter starts. These filters should last at least 6 months and up to a year. And we are changing our filters out at least once a month. This is its use after about 3.5 weeks.
What do you feel when you see the color of that every month?
I feel disgusted.
That's because of what happens when that filter fills up.
Trying to give my under a 1-year-old a bath at this moment, and the water is just brown. And this is after the water had been running for 25 minutes.
But what sent them over the edge happened about a month ago. A notice from CSWR that the water in the well tested positive for E. coli.
I call the company and I ask them, like, what is going on? Do I boil my water? Is this safe for them to drink? And nobody could answer me. And even in speaking to the supervisor, she couldn't tell me if my water was safe for consumption for my 6 children. The letter had also stated that they would test the well in 3 days and let us know what the results were. And it took them nearly a month to get those results back to us.
This letter 2 weeks ago from CSWR stated there was no longer E. coli in the well. But that's when the Knightons joined others in the neighborhood, like Wilcoxon, in asking CSWR more questions.
Does our well have a filtration system on it? If it does or it doesn't, just tell us, versus I'm not at liberty to disclose.
Right.
That sounds like you're hiding something.
They feel that about their bills.
So not only did our rates go up, but the quality of water never improved.
KSAT reached out to CSWR Texas about these issues, and they quickly responded, saying in part, all disinfection equipment at the Arrowhead water system is fully operational and running effectively. Our team is on site multiple times per week. We are assessing potential solutions, such as installing automatic flushers, which would reduce the need for residents to manually flush their lines at their own expense. The statement did not address a well filter or water bottle expenses. Courtney Friedman, KSAT 12 News.
Carrie Wilcoxon has now extended complaints to the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, which confirmed to KSAT today it is in the middle of an investigation.
She is also in contact with State Senator Judith Zaffirini and has a case filed with the Texas Attorney General's office. I was talking to Courtney about that story earlier. We know there is more to come on this, so it is something that we will stay on top of.
Absolutely. Water should not look like that coming out of your taps. All right, let's talk Halloween right now. A lot of people getting their plans together. I'm guessing Myra's probably had her plans together since last Halloween.
Oh,
That's the kind of planner she is.
You know.
But
yes.
Knowing her boys and their ages, they're changing their minds leading up to it, maybe.
Yeah.
Right?
I gave them a cutoff.
Okay.
This is your deadline.
Yep. Love it. Well, right now we're at 87. We had a high temperature of 88 today. We have the clouds out there. They really didn't drop much in terms of rain today. A few sprinkles. By 8 o'clock, we're 83. 10 o'clock, 78. Tomorrow at this time will pretty much be the same. It's going to be very similar out there. Notice the average high of 77. I think we'll drop below that by early next week. We have daily rain chances only at 20 to 30%, and no day in particular stands out with really good potential of maybe boosting the rain chances, just some light activity here and there. We'll be back in a little bit to time it out during the day on Halloween from the morning through trick-or-treating and those rain chances in just a bit.
Thank you, Adam. It's something we've been talking about the last couple of days, the city charter amendments. And in that campaign, a business-backed PAC pumping a lot more cash than firefighters are on the other side. The Renew SA PAC supports all 6 amendments on the San Antonio ballot.
But Prop C here has become the primary focus as the fire union came out against it. Garrett Berger looks at what all that money is getting them so far.
Signs of spending are everywhere you look. The 2 main campaigns on the San Antonio charter amendments have spent a combined $590,000 so far, most of it by the business-backed PAC eager to get rid of the salary and tenure caps on the city manager's position.
I simply think it puts too many handcuffs for that person to do what they need to do to be effective.
Renew SA has raised more than $500,000, much of it from big donors, including some big businesses. The union-led PAC is largely self-funded from its own political war chest, trying to keep the caps that it encouraged voters to install in the first place.
This question was asked and answered in 2018 when over 59% of San Antonio voted in favor of term limits and salary boundaries.
But what's the spending getting either of them? Pre-early voting polling shows most San Antonio voters don't even know the amendments are on the ballot, which tracks with what we saw today.
What have you heard about the charter amendments on the ballot?
I haven't.
And while the Renew SA campaign has spent almost as much just on mailers as the firefighters have overall, the union does have an advantage: manpower.
The union's president says their strategy will rely on firefighters actually out at the polls. Plus, simply being firefighters helps them.
I've only seen, I think, the fire department speak against it, so I kind of took that as a clue.
Though without context or prior knowledge, some may just leave those ballot questions blank.
Yeah, I mean, I read it. If I understood it, I would, make a decision, but there wasn't a clear choice.
Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
Now, Prop C is not the only one on the ballot. There are actually 5 more. You can learn about all of them on our website, ksat.com, or just scan this QR code.
Well, with less than 1 week until Election Day, we continue talking to you about the issues you care about. For episode 8 of our Your Voice South Texas, our Stephanie Jimenez takes us to Castroville, an area west of San Antonio known for its charming historic homes. It's also seeing big changes as a result of all the growth in that area. People in Castroville spoke about that and how their location's affecting how they plan to vote this election.
We're so close. We're so close to where something terrible just happened. So obviously that is motivation for me to vote.
The city of Castroville for years is wholesale. They own their own electric system, but they buy power from CPS. So there's fuel adjustment charges that fluctuate the bill that cost, because it costs money to generate the power. It costs money to transport it to you. So, and we feel the brunt on that too.
That's just a taste of what you'll see on the 8th and final episode of Your Voice South Texas. Scan the QR code so you can watch the full episode on Castroville.
The race for Texas House District 121 will play a key role in the future of Governor Greg Abbott's school voucher plan. Today, the 2 remaining candidates in that race, Mark LaHood and Jordan Swift, held rallies a few miles apart in their North Side district. Dylan Collier attended both and has more from the campaign trail.
Governor Greg Abbott addressed a packed house 10 people deep at the Angry Elephant, telling supporters his plan to provide school vouchers to Texas families to help cover the cost of private education is about getting back to family values.
If your child were in a school like that, do you think you should have the right to be able to move your child to another school?
Mark LaHood, a local attorney financially supported by Abbott both in March's primary and this election, said Democrats have painted the voucher program in a brush dipped in untruth.
But there's a lie that they've been saying, that if we empower parents, if we give parents the right and the freedom to do what's best for their children, that it's at odds with educating all of our children. That's a lie.
A few miles away, about 45 minutes later, the man LaHood beat in the primary crossed the political aisle as outgoing state representative Steve Allison endorsed LaHood's opponent, Laurel Jordan Swift.
I'm a Republican, so I don't take this decision lightly.
Those against school vouchers have said the measure, if passed, will take $500 million from the state's budget and wreck the Texas public school system as we know it.
As it stands, the way they voted before, if we flip 3 seats blue, we should be able to stop the voucher plan.
How big are the stakes in this race for some? Former Senator Jeff Wentworth said Saturday's early vote for Swift was the first time he voted for a Democrat in the Texas House of Representatives in the 62 years he's been a registered voter. Dylan Collier, KSAT 12 News.
We're talking about the most significant law enforcement failure in Texas's history that they would like to cloak in secrecy forever from the general public. The public interest couldn't be higher.
A public interest and a push for transparency. Today, attorneys argued about the Department of Public Safety's fight to withhold records about their response to the shooting at Robb Elementary. DPS appealed a judge's decision to release investigative material and videos from that day. Several news agencies, including KSAT, have sued to see those records. DPS attorneys argued that the Uvalde County DA believes its release could impact the criminal cases against 2 former Uvalde CISD officers charged in connection to the shooting. An attorney for the media outlets arguing that information should be made public. With courtrooms packed to capacity most days and hallways bustling with people waiting for their cases to be heard, space is limited at the Cadena Reeves Justice Center. Senior District Court Judge Ron Ronhell spoke with KSAT about the issue of no more space at that courthouse. Currently, the Justice Center houses 10 district courts, a pre-indictment court, and 15 county courts. According to Judge Ronhell, Bexar County's growth demands additional judges, but there's simply no place to put them. Some solutions could be buying some spaces around the courthouse that are currently vacant. But Ronhell says the issue has been discussed with the county for years, but now is the time to act. We reached out to the county asking for a statement about if any plans are in the works for additional courtroom space being created. They say they are aware of the current constraints and have had conversations with Commissioners Court on long-range planning for future space needs.
Let's take a look at traffic right now. This is the camera here at Highway 90 at Medio Creek. Looks like it's the westbound lanes that are very backed up right now, slow going, even on the access road as well. Things creeping along US 90. It is a longtime staple of South Texas, but its roots date back well beyond our own history here. We're talking about Mexican candy, its flavors, the favorites, and how it's evolved. KSAT Explained is coming up at 6:30.
Plus, no matter the kind, candy just about everywhere right now with Halloween coming up tomorrow. A dentist's do's and don'ts when it comes to candy. Next on the news at 6.
Quick reminder, a 2-hour Muertos Fest special recapping this weekend's festival is airing right here tonight on KSAT at 7 o'clock. It's right after this newscast. You can also watch it on any of our KSAT streaming platforms.
From home to the office, sweets everywhere we go as we near Halloween. Everyone from kids to adults deciding to maybe indulge.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. There are some sweets that a dentist we talked to said that you and your kids might want to skip. However, here's what he said.
Candies to avoid are going to be the sticky candies, fruit snacks, Starburst, Skittles. The reason is because these types of candies get stuck in the grooves and in between your teeth, and so they stay around a lot longer.
Oh, everything he said is exactly what my children love.
There you go.
Dr. Cantu says that dark chocolate is a better option than most candies because it has antioxidants that prevent bacteria from attaching to teeth. Also, snacking on candy all day, yeah, that's a bad idea. So if it's laying around the office, like it is here at KSAT, just limit yourself to a few pieces per day.
All right, candy corn, yay or nay?
Nay.
I like it. However, I really like the pumpkins, the candy corn.
Oh, the pumpkins?
That's all part of, that's what I consider all that part of it.
I'd rather go for the candy corn than the pumpkins because you can put them in your teeth and they look like fangs.
That's,
when you put them in your
that's
upper
part
lips.
of the fun, yeah.
Yeah, that's part of the fun. Now, I did discover something last week, okay? So I went back to the lovely Blessed Angels Senior Center. They always give me a big thing of candy, right?
Yeah.
And this one was one of my favorites. Had a ton of Reese's in there.
Ooh.
And I'm very weak. I'm so weak. A couple nights in a row, I'd get home after the night beat and I'd be like, oh yeah, so how you guys doing? And I'd just start eating. I had the best nights of sleep in my life.
Really?
Oh my gosh. I mean, like,
Didn't affect you, okay?
oh my gosh. Even like my Fitbit was like, wow, you get a 90. I'm like, what?
So the key is late night candy is what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's what I told my wife. It's
Reese's
all in the
peanut
Reese's.
butter cups right before bed.
And a bunch of them too.
Yeah, don't
I
limit
can't
yourself
believe
to
you.
one.
Of course you slept well, all sugared up.
Right.
Of course you did.
It was so good. You wake up just refreshed. Okay, so let's get right into our Halloween rain chances forecast. And you're welcome, everybody. Kids, plug your ears during all that. Pretend I didn't say anything. Rain chances. 30% in the morning, slightly higher, I think, in the hill country, and then down to 10% by trick-or-treat time. So it's mainly just the morning. By trick-or-treating, we'll have that 10% chance of a brief sprinkle or shower. Temperatures will be near 80, so warm and actually humid as well. Pretty muggy tomorrow and for several more days. Sunset, by the way, 6:48 p.m. It'll be dark then. We'll have twilight, then dark by 7:15 p.m. Tomorrow at 6 p.m., 82 degrees. By 8 p.m., we're at 78, then 10 o'clock, 76, and a mixture of sun and clouds, and then the sun will set and we'll have a decent amount of clouds out there. Here's a look at our future cast. A few more sprinkles possible tonight and even in the pre-dawn hours tomorrow. Then a weak cool front drops into the hill country a little before sunrise. That's when it should trigger a broken line of showers and even a few thunderstorms possible, particularly in the hill country tomorrow morning. As this front draws near San Antonio, say 9 a.m., it's just on our doorstep. They're still going to have some shower activity isolated in nature, but it's likely to start falling apart as the front weakens. But still, even through noon, we have that 30% chance. And then into the evening hours, really not much left over on the radar screen, but hopefully we can get a few good downpours out there. It is a possibility during the first part of the day tomorrow. The timing is right, that's for sure, considering the holiday. All right, so here's that cold front. Not a lot of activity along it right now, but as it drops to the southeast, it should generate a few showers and storms in Texas. Most of the action with this is going to be in the midsection of the country. We're talking parts of eastern Nebraska, Kansas as well, midsection right here. That's where the severe weather threat is this evening and tonight. But you see, we're right on the tail end of that activity around here in south central Texas. Look at our high temperature trend. 84 tomorrow, mid 80s basically all the way through Monday. Then we drop to 72 for the high next Tuesday. So a Monday night / Tuesday early morning cold front impacting our temperatures next week. And you see the cool front that's already on our doorstep, the one that's going to stall before really having an impact on us. You see temperatures in the 40s largely behind that front. Meanwhile, we're in the 70s and 80s out ahead of it. This is a classic fall front right here with that big temperature gradient or temperature contrast. And of course, it's associated with that big dip, that trough in the upper level flow. We'll see more of those, I think, in the weeks ahead. 72 in the morning, 76 at noon, 84 the high temperature locally. In the hill country, we'll probably be in the 70s for afternoon highs. And morning temperatures could actually get back down into the 50s by the middle of next week. Briefly.
Time. Yeah. Thank you, Adam.
Peanut butter cup weather.
Oh, baby.
All right, I could be. Did you hear what he said, Larry? He loads up on peanut butter cups before he goes to bed and he's never slept better.
3 nights in a row.
Doesn't that somehow make sense?
I'd be sick. My stomach would probably hurt.
The normal person would, but we're talking about casting.
This is true.
So, all right.
Yes.
Enough about peanut butter cups. Chris Paul used to play for the Thunder.
He did, yes.
Okay, so it'll be interesting him going back.
Yeah, so he's very familiar with the organization, and Sam Presti, you know, he used to be at the Spurs and the Thunder, all that kind of stuff, so he understands it. But how is Chris Paul helping this group of Spurs? He was asked that by an OKC reporter. And in college football, the Aggies are done thinking about LSU coming up.
Once the sun comes up on Sunday, you know, that wins in the history, you know, so it's in the past. So we don't think about that anymore. We're just focused on South Carolina, and we're ready to roll.
Trey Zune says the win against LSU is in the Aggies' rear view as they prepare for the Gamecocks in big board sports. The Spurs and Thunder will meet for the first time this season when they hoop tonight in Oklahoma City, the first of 3 regular season meetings between the two sides. And the Spurs held morning shoot-around at the Paycom Center, where the Thunder are favored by 12.5 points tonight. This morning, Chris Paul was asked where does he think he's having the greatest impact with this group of Spurs.
I don't know. That's probably a question for them. You know, I think for me, I'm still trying to learn a lot of the guys. They're trying to learn me. Training camp now is so short. You get right into the games. There's injuries that happen here and there. So we're trying to learn and figure out how to get some wins at the same time.
The Thunder will host the Spurs tonight at 8:30, and guard Trey Jones is out with a right ankle sprain. The 10th-ranked Texas A&M Aggies are now getting ready to play at the South Carolina Gamecocks. The Aggies are 7-1 this season and a perfect 5-0 in the Southeastern Conference. They are the only undefeated squad in the SEC. Last Saturday, the Aggies had the rally to beat the LSU Tigers at Kyle Field, 38-23. The Tigers led 10-0 and 17-7 before A&M fought back behind quarterback Marcel Reed. Now the Aggies will head to Columbia, South Carolina to play the Gamecocks, who are 2-2 at home this season.
Right, yep. Any game on the road in the SEC is a tough game, so we have to prepare the same every single week. So, yeah, getting people refocused. You know, we celebrated the LSU win, but that's over now. So, yeah, we're just focusing on this week, game planning, getting ready. It's loud. It's a tough environment. You know, they're fans. They get excited. So, you know, it's going to be a tough on-the-road game. So we just got to play our brand of football and go to work.
Texas A&M will play at South Carolina Saturday night at 6:30 live on KSAT 12. And no word yet if Marcel Reed or Connor Wigman will start at QB for the Aggies. We were at Piper High School this morning. The Warriors football team is undefeated and is flexing its muscles in more ways than one. With the win against Victoria East on Friday night, the Warriors would clinch at least a share of the District 13-5A D1 title. But the Piper coaching staff might have the title as the most in-shape group of coaches in the region. So we asked them, is that a requirement?
I don't require it per se, but they know that it's important, yes, to all of us. So yes, most of the coaches on staff still work out, because we believe, I mean, if you're going to lead these guys and you're going to ask them to do some of these things, that, I mean, we got to be doing them ourselves. So we try to practice what we preach.
We have coaches out here running during the day, running miles, doing push-ups, working out in our gym, so it definitely motivates us. When your coach is fit, it makes you want to, you know, go out and do the same thing.
Those are all guys that you would want to grow up to be, and like those are role models that you'd look up to.
Piper's fit coaching staff is part of the BGC road trip Friday night. Piper will host Victoria East in Game 1. MacArthur will play at Smithson Valley in Game 2. And the last stop will see the Steel Knights at New Braunfels Canyon.
Fit coaches.
Fit coaches, yeah. So we sent Nick Mantis out there, who's a pretty big guy himself.
Yeah.
You know?
Did Nick work out with the coaches?
It's probably on the menu soon.
Yeah, okay, that's a no.
Speaking of working out, KSAT Explains Mexican Candy is coming up next.
You know, Halloween often brings up some nostalgia, thoughts about the candy we all loved when we were kids. Still love when we're adults. For many in South Texas, Mexican candy a big favorite and a big tradition.
And today those flavors have made their way into restaurants, into ice creams, even bars. Patty Santos explains the history, the origins, and how Mexican candy has become a part of South Texas culture.
From the sweet to the
the sour to the spicy, the flavors of Mexican candy are familiar to most South Texans.
The sour, the little kind of spicy chili.
And behind the flavors of all these snacks is a rich storied history that includes innovation and evolution.
I think the most interesting thing about Mexican candy is that it runs the gamut from sweet to sour to salty to spicy.
That range of flavor has been around from the beginning. Sugar wasn't introduced to Mexico until the Spanish arrived in the 1500s, but even before then, indigenous people enjoyed sweets.
They would have candy made out of fruit, candy made sweetened with honey. So it's very natural. And I still think that's an element that runs through most of the Mexican candy.
One of the early candies involved mixing seeds from the amaranth plant with honey and fruit. These candies exist still today and are known as alegrías. Another that you are undoubtedly familiar with, chocolate.
Chocolate does not come from Switzerland. Chocolate comes from Mexico.
There is evidence that people living in present-day Mexico were producing chocolate as early as 1900 BC. They ground the cacao beans and made it into a beverage by adding water. And at some point, they also added another ingredient to give it that chocolate kick.
I think the Aztecs are so brilliant, they started adding a little bit of hot chili to it. And so the frothy hot chocolate then has a spicy flavor.
And when the Spanish arrived in Mexico in 1519, so did sugar. The fusion of the two cultures led to the creation of many more treats like bocadas and camotes.
And the camotes are sweet potatoes, chunks of sweet potatoes that have been cooked in a sugar syrup.
Another sweet that remains popular to this day is often found in ice cream and or flan, dulce de leche, caramelized milk and sugar.
And boy, is that one good. Then started adding pecans to it and making it into a praline sort of a thing.
Some of the sugary creations aren't meant to be tasted at all. Calaveras or sugar skulls have been around since the early 1700s. They're used to decorate ofrendas for Dia de Muertos. Another fusion of culture is also to thank for another Mexican candy standout, chamoy. Chamoy's roots are actually in Asia.
And it all started with the Japanese, they call it the Japanese salted plum, which is actually in reality an apricot, a sour apricot. They take it, they dry it out. Traditionally, they would dry it in the sun, process it, mash it, cook it with chilies and citruses.
And so then that comes to the Americas, and we started adding the chili flavor to it. The other one is tamarindo.
Tamarindo comes from the tamarind tree. The fruit produces a sweet and sour pulp that can be turned into beverage or candy. It's commonly used to cover fruit and lollipops. Chamoy and tamarindo are both good options for those who want to avoid anything too sweet or empalagoso.
So Mexicans said, oh, I don't want the candy to be that sickening sweet, so we're going to add a punch to it. The punch can be the chili, or it can be the salt, or it can be the sour part.
We have Mexican candy, American candy, and our own candy that we make.
Alamo Candy Company is a staple in San Antonio. It's been around for almost 30 years. Many adult customers here remember these candies as kids.
Literally, I have the memories of hearing the ice cream man go down our street and hearing him being oh, and asking my mom for $1 just so I can go get this candy.
Everybody loves their sweet, sour, and spicy too.
Some of the popular ones, saladitos, salted plums, pulparindo, which comes in different flavors, vero mango, chili-covered mango lollipops, rebanaditas, chili-covered watermelon lollipops.
And it's just everybody loves it, to the little kids all the way to adults.
Mexican candy can't be described with one word. It's a question that stumped Diego Venado, owner of La Dulceria on Bassey Road.
En mi experiencia, es una explosión como de sabores.
All of the candy is imported from Mexico. Even if you're not a fan of the spicy sweet mix, it's a good bet. There's still a Mexican candy for you.
No siempre son paletas cubiertas de chile y en el centro dulce. Ver esa felicidad en el cliente que le gusta encontrar, recordar, yo creo que eso es lo que nos mantiene en el negocio.
Traditional flavors continue to evolve and migrate. They're not just in candy stores. Mangonadas are the #1 treat sold at the Mangonada ice cream shop at the corner of Culebra Road and San Joaquin Avenue.
I love the taste of the mangonada.
It's the sweet, salty, and picosito taste that people love. Chamoy is what gives it that special taste. Chamoy City Limits experiments with pickling different fruits like strawberries and mangoes for the chamoy creations.
And they're like super, super secret. Like I keep my recipe book in my safe. And I don't even say what's on the bottle. I know that when people come to the shop, a lot of people from the Valley will say, oh, this is just like the Valley, but not exactly like the Valley. And I say, yeah, it's a San Antonio style, because I think that each region takes its own style.
As chamoy continues to grow in popularity, the people we talked with who have been in the business for years say that's a good thing. But as with any food, they hope there's recognition and appreciation for where it came from.
Patty Santos doing a great job there. I love the fact that she keeps her chamoy recipe in her safe.
Yeah.
And it's a San Antonio version.
It's a San Antonio version, doesn't put it on the bottle. Okay, I do have a favorite, which I have to say I took off of Patty's desk. I told her I would put it back. This is mazapan. So this is peanuts and powdered sugar.
Yeah.
And it's delicious.
And you're not going to eat it.
And I told her I wouldn't eat it. So Patty, this belongs to you.
If
Two
it's
witnesses
gone,
say it's going back.
Do we though? We could. I don't know, Steve.
I don't know.
Okay, I'll put it back.
Just remember, Myra's responsible.
It's so good.
It is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, take a look at this here. This QR code, this is access to all of our KSAT Explains episodes. You can stream them anytime, watch any topic we have covered on demand. We'll be right back. Investigators are releasing some new details about the arson attacks on ballot drop boxes in Washington and Oregon.
Law enforcement sources telling ABC's Rena Roy the incendiary devices used carried markings that said Free Gaza and Free Palestine.
Ballots burnt to a crisp in Washington and Oregon. These new images showing what's left in Vancouver. The paper charred and votes destroyed. Maggie Lind, a college student and first-time voter, learned her ballot was burned.
It was really jarring to hear. I think it's very unfortunate that we are at a time in a country where we're trying to silence others.
Officials in Clark County say about 475 damaged ballots were taken from a box that was burned early Monday. The same day, more ballots burned at a box in Portland, Oregon. Investigators believe these and a third incident earlier this month in Vancouver are all connected, the suspect using incendiary devices. Law enforcement sources telling ABC News those devices carried markings that said Free Gaza and Free Palestine. Authorities are now working to determine if the suspect is an activist for the pro-Palestinian cause or if the arsonist left the words to manipulate existing divisions in the U.S. Officials focusing their search on this Volvo, which they believe is tied to the suspect. Growing security concerns as we get closer and closer to this high-stakes election. Officials in Maricopa County, Arizona, ramping up security to help keep them safe.
Election workers are off limits.
With patrols on horseback, surveillance drones, and security cameras.
And 24/7 monitoring has been implemented at ballot boxes in Clark County, Washington. Meanwhile, in Los Angeles, to help keep votes secure, local officials plan to use LA County Sheriff helicopters to fly ballots from more than 600 polling stations to the central counting location where there will be armed security. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Look outside with live cam. We got the clouds out there. Not the rain and cooler temperatures to go along with it.
Not yet.
Not yet. I like Steve's optimism.
I'm an optimist.
Our day will come. It will. And we're easing into it with these subtle rain chances. Tomorrow, the first half of the day through the noon hour, we have a 30% chance as a weak boundary drops in. Slightly better odds in the hill country, by the way, and we could actually have a few embedded downpours there. Then by trick-or-treat time, those rain chances fall off to just 10%. And temperatures at that time, tomorrow at 6 p.m., 82. At 8 p.m., we'll be at 78 degrees. We're going to talk more about overall temperatures this month and how they compare to average in just a bit.
Okay, Steve's optimistic. I'm going to be optimistic for no rain during trick-or-treat.
Ah, okay. All right.
I actually think that's a pretty good bet there, too.
I was basing it off your 10%.
I was going to say you're going with that 90%. Yeah.
She's seen the forecast.
Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Got this. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. Let's talk about temperatures this October. And what we do when we look at months, we look at the average temperature for the entire month, not just the high temperatures or the low temperatures, but the average of all those through the entire month. And so far, this October, we're at 78.3 degrees, and we are on pace for the hottest October on record, second to 1931, which was 78.0. Now, just looking at the afternoon highs, we only had 2 days where we were below average. That was Wednesday and Thursday a couple weeks ago, the 16th and 17th. And we did have about 3 or 4 record high temperatures sprinkled in there as well, tied and or broken. Today, 88. That was 2 degrees shy of the record. The average being 77. I do think we'll get below that by next week once a cold front is likely to move through. And we talked about this a bit yesterday, but we have to revisit it today. Our consecutive days without measurable rain, that streak has officially ended. Barely. 1/100th of an inch at the airport yesterday. But scientifically and technically, that's a measurable amount of rain, so it counts. That's the 4th longest streak on record and 10 days shy of the record streak. Now, you look at the rainfall potential over the next 7 days, it's the midsection of the country, basically from Oklahoma northward toward about Wisconsin, Iowa, and Illinois. That's going to be the sweet spot. Some of that in the form of severe weather, even this evening and tonight in the midsection of the country. We're kind of on the tail end of the action as usual, but at least there is signs of change and signals of change in the atmosphere that gives us at least small opportunities periodically. Even tonight and tomorrow, we have the few stray sprinkles. And then tomorrow morning is when this cold front drops into the hill country. It's a weak front, but it should be enough to help kickstart showers and a few thunderstorms and basically just embedded downpours. We're not expecting anything very strong. We could just the very off chance of a strong to severe storm. It's mainly just going to be some rain with some lightning and thunder in some spots. Then as the morning progresses and that front slows down and hits the brakes as it moves towards San Antonio, the rain should really start to break apart and dissipate. But all the way through the noon hour, we have that 30% chance before it's down to a 10% chance when things probably quiet down quite a bit by tomorrow evening and tomorrow night. All right, here's the look at the forecast for tomorrow. 72 in the morning. That's at sunrise. Very humid and sticky with those hit or miss showers and even some embedded downpours starting in the hill country and then moving elsewhere. 76 at noon. By 5 o'clock, we're at 84 degrees. And notice at 9 o'clock, there we go, trick-or-treating, 77. So near 80 for the most part is the best way to put it when you start trick-or-treating to the tail end of it, right near 80 degrees. And you look at the high temperatures, and as I mentioned, 84 in San Antonio, that's in the afternoon. Be in the mid-80s for most of us, but hill country is an exception. Low to mid-70s for the afternoon high temperatures because of that boundary that's dropping in. This boundary not having a big impact on our temperatures, but the next one is likely to hit Monday night. That could very well drop our afternoon highs back down into the low to mid 70s by Election Day and the day after.
Thank you, Adam.
Coming up in the buzz, you know them for soup. We're going to talk about Campbell's candles, though, coming up. To the buzz, and it's a Houston Halloween tradition. Window washers disguised as superheroes rappelling down the sides of the MD Anderson Children's Cancer Hospital.
It is all in an effort to bring joy to patients and their families in the pediatric hospital. I love seeing that video every year.
Yeah, the reaction inside the room.
Yeah,
just
that's
as good.
The best part.
Yeah.
Okay, you like the smell of a Thanksgiving dinner, but you don't like all the cooking? Well, Campbell's is here to help with that. The soup company has unveiled a line of candles that smell like Thanksgiving sides.
This seems like a joke.
Yeah, it does.
Doesn't seem like it's real, but apparently it is. They have the scents of green bean casserole, jalapeno cheddar mac and cheese, apple, fennel, and herb stuffing. Sorry, Herb. And everything bagel seasoned mashed potatoes. Would you buy one of these?
No. Okay, Caskey says
it comes in
yes.
a gift pack.
No.
Scents of the sides of the season.
Isn't part of the smell knowing you get to eat it?
But this is like you can smell it all season.
Buy it for our wives for Christmas. It's done now, Steve.
Yeah, if they have these at 7-Eleven,
we got them.
Caskey and I shopping is done.
No.
What?
No.
Merry Christmas.
Pretty sure this is limited time only, which means you guys will probably forget about it and won't buy it.
Honey, this cream of mushroom set is just for you.
Oh, it's everything I dreamed
Oh,
of.
what lucky women. We'll be right back. Don't forget, right after this newscast, our Muertos Fest special will start in just a few minutes.
It is such a wonderful celebration.
Beautiful.
Captured the next 2 hours.